Major issues on the agenda before she leaves. First being the moratorium, and we have a resolution all typed up for that. Okay, and I'll read the moratorium, or the resolution. And I move this resolution. It's a resolution approving local law number 1, 2012, moratorium on and prohibition of gas and petroleum exploration and extraction activities, underground storage of natural gas and disposal of natural gas or petroleum extraction, exploration, and production waste. Whereas on February 8th, 2012, the Town Board of the Town of Enfield has approved to move forward with a local law to affect the moratorium and prohibition of natural gas and petroleum exploration and extraction activities to include underground storage of natural gas and disposal of natural gas or petroleum extraction, exploration, and production waste within the Town of Enfield. And whereas a proposed final draft of such law has been duly presented to the town board by the town supervisor in February 2012, and whereas a public hearing for the proposed local law has been held on the 28th day of March 2012, and that the proposed local law has not substantially changed, and whereas the Tompkins County Department of Planning has reviewed the proposed local law and has determined that it has no negative intercommunity or county-wide impacts, now therefore be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Enfield hereby approves this local law as presented at the public hearing held on the 28th day of March, and further it be resolved that the town clerk file this local law with the attorney for the Town of Enfield and the New York Department of State. And I move this resolution.
I'll second.
Any discussion? If no discussion, before we have the vote, I think each one of us should disclose what our current status is as far as whether we have a lease on any of our property in the Town of Enfield or not. And I'll start that. I believe all of my property is currently under a lease.
My property is under lease and I'm in the process, according to the contract, it should have expired, but I am in the process with a lawyer to find out if that is true and holding, and if not, to continue with that process to not get null and void.
None of my limited property, all of my limited property is under lease. None.
None of my property's under lease.
I think our lease has expired. I couldn't lay my hands on it. We have packed up a bunch of stuff left out for some changes at the house, but I think it expired last month.
Okay, once again, any discussion on the moratorium?
Well, we've had quite a bit of community input over the past 6 months, and it's certainly my belief that the community wants a reasonable time. Well, the community wants a ban, but the correct step is a moratorium for a short time. And I certainly personally hope that the state continues looking seriously at the regulation of this industry and comes out with guidelines and regulations that are more comforting to the residents of the state and this community. So I think this is the prudent thing for the town to do, and I don't see much downside to the town to enter into a moratorium.
Any other?
Just two things that the board might want to consider, and that is that leases are expiring right now. Leases are expiring every week, every month, because the major activity in the town of Enfield was about 5 years ago. So there are mixed opinions as to whether or not a total ban would throw those leases that have not expired into a force majeure situation. And I believe one of the concerns has been that people have signed bad leases. The other thing that I have heard through somewhat official channels is that the state is not going to be issuing regulations this month, and that there's an impression that they're going to wait until after the election. So those are two things that I think that we should consider.
Any other discussion? If not, do we call the vote, Alice?
Councilperson Green.
Aye.
Councilperson Holster.
Aye.
Councilperson Elliott.
Aye.
Councilperson Teeter.
Aye.
Supervisor Barrow.
Aye.